For this exercise, it is best to be seated in a chair and in an upright and comfortable position. But it is also okay to be laying down, preferably in a supine position, flat on your back, with your arms to the side, or hands folded across your abdomen. As we begin this exercise, start by gently pushing your feet to the floor and get a sense of the ground beneath you. Or if lying down, feel how gravity is gently pulling down on your body and pressing on the bed or floor. And you can either fix your eyes on a spot or close them, whichever you prefer. Now just take a moment to notice the position of your body as you are sitting or laying. Now, direct your focus of attention on sound and notice every noise that you are able to detect at this moment. Now, see if you can notice the sensations on the areas of your exposed skin, likely your hands, face, neck, and perhaps your arms. Now, try to focus your attention on your sense of smell and notice if there are any particular and distinct scents that you are able to detect. Now try to see if you're able to notice any sense of emotion that might be showing up within your body right now. Notice whatever thought is occurring to you right now in this moment, whether it is audible or visual or both. Notice now that there's this part of you that can notice everything that you see, hear, touch, taste, smell, think, and feel. I refer to this part of us as the observing self, but you can call it whatever you like. Our awareness is like a very large stage, and on that stage are all your thoughts, and all of your feelings, and everything that you can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. The observing self is that part of you that can step back and view the stage, and focus in on any part of it, or step back and take it all in at once. Most of us experience life while in our thinking self, which we experience as though we are on the stage, with all of the pressure and high stakes and strong emotion of a performer. But at any moment, we can access our observing selves, and the change that occurs is like stepping off of this stage and taking a seat, grabbing some popcorn, and watching the show with a sense of curiosity and amusement. Once we become able to access and engage this observing self, the change we experience can be drastic. To describe this contrast, I've used an analogy of being on a stage during a performance versus being in the audience watching the show. Another good analogy to demonstrate the contrast between the thinking self and observing self is noting the contrast between playing a sport and being in the stands, watching the game being played. I'll use the example of football. Think of a quarterback of a football team that is in the middle of a play, scanning down the field frantically, while a group of giant and immensely strong men are rushing toward him to try to knock him down. What he can see is limited by the small gap in his helmet and his own linemen just a few feet in front of him, and players from the other team getting closer and closer, and down the field, players running in several directions as he looks to try to see if any of his receivers are open. All he is able to hear in that moment are the loud collisions of bodies and grunts, and the roar of the crowd in the background all around him. Now, think of a casual fan who is in the stadium where this same game is taking place, but only as a spectator, sitting in one of those fancy luxury boxes and observing what is happening on the field, but not directly impacted by it. They can look at everything going on the field all at once, while being completely unaffected by it. They aren't even impacted by whatever the weather conditions outside might be. It could be pouring rain or frigidly cold, but that weather cannot break in and impact the luxury box. The direct experience of the thinking self is like the player out on the football field or the actor or actress on the stage, while the experience of the observing self is that of one in a comfortable front row seat at the play or in a luxury box at a sporting event. With this understanding of your observing self, take a moment to reflect on why you are here practicing this exercise in the first place. There is something that matters to you, something that is important deep in your heart that motivated you to take the suggestion to set aside the time to practice. Is it about improving your life, personal growth, learning new skills, improving your relationships, to enhance your overall well-being? Just do a search, right now, inside your heart, to clarify what brought you to this practice. You are here because you made a decision to take action to improve your life and the lives of those around you. You had to look up and then contact the therapist that provided this exercise. You had to make the appointment and take time out of your day to meet for the first time. You pushed through and overcame any apprehension, nervousness, or resistance that you probably felt at just the thought of working with a new therapist. Why did you do it? Why was this so important to you? Whatever the answer, just take a few moments to connect with a sense of what was so important that it drove you to take action. And take a moment to recognize that even now, this very moment, you are continuing to take action. You are listening to a recording that probably seems a bit unusual, and you probably have all sorts of thoughts that are occurring in your mind, and different emotions rising and falling away within your body. And there are all sorts of things you could be doing right now other than this. Yet here you are, continuing to take action in the hope of improving your life. Now, in order to strengthen our ability to access and engage our observing self, we will spend the next several minutes practicing our ability to focus and observe the breathing process. Start by emptying your lungs by gently pushing all the air out. And then allow them to gently and naturally expand and fill with air. And for the next few breath cycles, see if you can really focus your attention to notice and observe the sensations of breathing. Notice the air as it flows, at first through the nose, and how the lungs expand with the deepening of the breath, and then up and out with each exhale. See if you can be an observer of your own breathing as though you are a scientist who has never encountered breathing before. And now, it's time for a challenge. Over the next 30 seconds, this recording will be silent. During this time, see how well you are able to keep your attention on your breath. See if you can be a pure observer of the process of breathing as it is occurring within your body. This part of the exercise is usually a challenge for most newcomers to the practice because our minds are master storytellers. It will tell you all sorts of interesting stories to grab your attention and pull you away from what you're doing. In the following 30 seconds, see if when you notice that the focus of your attention has been pulled into a thought or narrative, if you can just briefly acknowledge the thought that pulled you away and direct your attention back to the breathing process. See if you can allow all thoughts to just come and go, like words or images that scroll across a screen from left to right, with no power to pull you out of the audience and onto the stage. See if you can allow your thinking mind to chatter away, as if it's just a radio playing in the background. Don't try to turn the radio completely off, because that is literally impossible. No one can do that. It's just not what our human mind is capable of doing. So instead of fighting it, just let it play on in the background and keep your attention on the breath. From time to time, your mind will succeed in distracting you. It will hook you in with a good story, and you'll lose track of your breathing. This is normal and natural, and it will happen repeatedly. The moment you realize this has happened, just take a moment to note what hooked you, and then gently refocus on your breathing. When first attempting this practice, many people find it very difficult. Newcomers become discouraged because they are so quickly and easily distracted by their thoughts. Their thinking mind might tell them that they are just not good at this. But it is the very act of noticing that you are hooked into and carried away by a thought, and then are able to shift your attention back to breathing. This is the very thing that will build up your strength and increase your skill. It's how you make progress. You will get better at it over time if you practice regularly. I cannot put into words how beneficial it is when this ability begins carrying over from a formal practice like this to day-to-day life, no matter what the circumstances. Every time you get distracted and then refocus on breathing, you can think of it like doing a rep of a weightlifting exercise. You don't get stronger by lifting weights unless you do several reps. As this exercise continues, the feelings and sensations in your body will change. There may be pleasant feelings showing up, such as relaxation, calm, peacefulness. There may be unpleasant ones also, such as boredom, frustration, or anxiety. See if you can allow those feelings to be exactly as they are in this moment. Don't try to control your feelings. Just let them be as they are, regardless of whether they are pleasant or unpleasant, and keep your attention on your breathing. So if you're noticing a difficult feeling, then silently say to yourself, here's a feeling of frustration, or here's a feeling of anxiety, or here's a feeling of boredom. Acknowledge it's there and keep your attention on the breath. Life is like a stage performance or a sporting event. What's on the stage or in the field are all our thoughts and all our emotions, and everything that we can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. In this exercise, we focused a spotlight directly onto the process of breathing. And now it's time to bring up the rest of the lights. This breathing is happening inside a body. So now bring up the lights on your body, sit up in the chair, or if laying down, stretch your arms and legs. Your body is inside a room. So now bring up the lights on the room. Look around and notice what you can see. Notice what you can hear. Notice the tone of your emotional state. Notice your thoughts. Notice that there is a part of you in there that can notice everything. Whatever you see, hear, touch, taste, smell, think, feel, or do in any moment. And as you go about your daily life, see if you can remember this ability that you have to engage the part of you that can be a pure observer of an experience, like being in a movie theater or a play, or in a box seat at a sporting event. This can be most helpful in a period of emotional turbulence, either in anger or anxiety. The next time that you have an experience where you find yourself caught up in thoughts and overwhelmed with negative emotion, see if you can recognize in that moment that you are in your thinking self perspective and therefore on the stage or in the field. And once you've recognized this, see if you can make a conscious decision to engage your observing self, which will automatically take you off of the stage or field and into the box seats. And it's from this perspective that you can safely observe your thoughts and emotions and then make a constructive decision on what action to take next, even if it is no action at all.